Snowstorm by Alexander Pushkin. The Blizzard or the Snowstorm is the second of five short stories that constitute the tales of late Ivan Petrovich Belkin by Alexander Pushkin. The manuscript for the story was originally completed October 20, 1830. It was intended to be the last of the tales of the late Ivan Petrovich Belkin to be published, but Pushkin decided to push the story to the front of the volume. The novella, so comical and at the same time so dramatic, is considered to be one of the masterpieces of Russian literature. The plot concerns the relationships of an aristocratic young woman named Maria Gavrilovna. She is a patronymic, not a surname, and the unusual coincidences that accompany them. The following is copied from the program notes by Leadbetter. In 1811, a 17-year-old girl, Maria, falls in love with the young officer, Vladimir Nikolaevich. Her parents disapprove of the relationship, which continues into the winter through correspondence. Finally, they decide to elope, marry quickly, and then throw themselves at the feet of her parents to beg forgiveness. Confident that a marriage entered into the Russian Orthodox Church would be regarded as eternal and unbreakable. The plan was for Maria Gavrilovna to slip out in the middle of a winter's night and take a sleigh to a distant village church, where her love would meet her for the wedding. On the night in question, a blizzard was raging, but the girl managed to do all she had promised and to reach the church. Her lover, on the other hand, driving alone to the rendezvous, became lost in the dark and the storm, arriving at the church many hours late to find no one there. Next morning, Masha was once more at home but very ill. In a feverish delirium, she said enough to make it clear to her mother that she was hopelessly in love with the young officer. Her parents, deciding that this was a fated love, gave the permission for a wedding. But when they wrote to inform the officer of this fact, his reply was almost incoherent. He begged their forgiveness and insisted that his only hope was death. He rejoined the army. It was now the fatal year of 1812 when Napoleon made his famous attack on Russia. He was wounded at the Battle of Borodina and died. Meanwhile, Masha's father died, leaving her the richest young woman in her region. Suitors pressed for her hand, but she refused to accept anyone. She seemed to be living only for the memory of her last love. Finally, though, she made the acquaintance of a wounded colonel of the Hussars, Bermin, who was revisiting the estate near hers. Bermin was a handsome man who had once had a reputation as a notorious rake, but who was now both quiet and modest in his personality. Two developed a warm friendship, and it became very clear that he was so restrained that he never made any declaration of love or formal proposal to her. Masha purposely arranged a situation in which they would be able to talk freely with no one else near. Finally, he breaks his silence. He loves her passionately but cannot hope for any happiness with her because he is already married, has been married for 4 years to a woman whom he does not know and whom he cannot expect ever to see again. To the astonished Masha, he explains that in the winter of 1812, he was trying to rejoin his regiment when a terrible blizzard came on. Riding in a troika with a guide, they became lost in unfamiliar country. Seeing a light in the distance, They drove toward it and found themselves at a village church where people were crying out, "This way." When he stopped at the church, he was told that the bride had fainted and the priest did not know what to do. When they saw the young soldier, they asked him if he was ready to proceed. Bermin, the young rake, noticed the attractiveness of the bride and decided to play a prank by going through with the ceremony. The church was dark, lit only by a few candles, and everyone in it was little more than a shadow. When at the end he was told to kiss his bride, she realized that it was not her intended and fainted dead away. As the witnesses stared at him in horror, he raced out and drove off. He explains to Masha that he was so thoroughly lost that he still doesn't know the name of the village where he was married or who the bride might have been. As the tale ends, Maria Gavrilovna takes the hand of the man she has come to love and identifies herself as the long lost bride. That's the end. Thanks for watching.